So last night I was watching a documentary about Paul Simon, and he was talking about his desire for his perfection in his music. And the issue was he can see things that are not quite perfect, and sometimes the music is okay for it better to not be perfect. Um, but it's interesting. I think anybody who is an expert in their field, who's worldwide, who's world famous, it probably has that eye for perfection. They can see when things aren't quite right. Some good examples, right? So Paul Simon in music, Michael Jordan in basketball. If you've seen the documentary on him, he can see when things aren't quite right, and he just desires it to be absolutely perfect. Ted Williams comes to mind in baseball for hitting. He was passionate about hitting, doing it the right way over and over and over. For friends of mine in the softball world, Monica Abbott, I watched her warm up. It's all about perfection. Um, and it's interesting in each of these people, they're oriented to recognizing what's not right, and then they will work tirelessly to make it perfect. They have an orientation for perfection. But I think that a lot of business owners have this same situation because they are professionals in their field. They can quickly recognize when things aren't exactly the way they're supposed to be. A plumber can see if things aren't working properly. A chef in the kitchen knows when meal service isn't going right or the plate's not right that the normal person can't quite get. A master barber can see if a haircut is not being done properly from across the room. So, that's what makes us professionals is we can see things differently in our field that other people can't quite see. Okay? But what makes us really great leaders and to be excellent in what we do is our ability to communicate with the team so that they can learn and be experts and be your eyes and ears and get it right for you. So, recognizing only the bad doesn't get the team member aligned with us. If we only communicate when things are out of sorts, when they're not done the way they're supposed to be, then people aren't going to want to listen to us. We need to recognize the good too. A couple other things. Understand when to correct somebody in the moment and when to follow up. If it's an area of safety or if it's customer facing and you can make a change in the moment, then by all means do it. But sometimes it's better to give that feedback with some separation. If you did it in the moment, it may come out a little bit more argumentative and maybe just not well received. If you can separate yourself from the situation and actively or accurately give feedback later on, then by all means you should do it. Sometimes it's both. It's in the moment and then you come back and revisit. Also, be willing to communicate in different ways. Some people are visual learners, some people are auditory. I don't think many are really predominantly auditory. A lot of us are kinesthetic. That means we like to do things. We need to do it with our hands. We need to practice it. So simply telling somebody what's right and what's wrong, while it checks the box of I gave them feedback, it doesn't always help them master that skill and master the recognition of what's required. So if you're looking to make an improvement in your team, be sure you're touching on all the learning styles, not just visual, or not just auditory and listening, but also visual. Let them see it, let them see the difference, and then let them practice it, put their hands on it, and get it right. And then also the positive encouragement as a reward. Sometimes people say, well, why do I have to reward them? They're just doing their job. Well, you want them to do their job right and perfectly. So isn't it worth it to reward them for those types of things, even if it is just part of their job? You want to make sure that they're masters. Or the flip side is you don't reward them, you don't give the good feedback, and then they're not doing your job. So what do you really want the outcome to be? Focus on the outcome and how to make that happen. So again, as an owner, it's great to recognize when things aren't perfect. That's what makes you professional. But if you can master how to get your team to do it on your behalf, to your standards, then you're going to have an excellent company and you're going to become an excellent leader that people are going to work for and going to want to learn from. Hope that makes sense. If you want to talk about that for your business or a particular opportunity, by all means, let's just reach out and we'll talk about it. It's John Davis. Now's a good time to get into action.